Students, welcome back to your English class. Today we are here to go on with our English class for class 8. Today we will be doing our supplementary book first lesson. The lesson, as you can see, is how the camel got his hump. You all know camel do have hump, so you need to know this one also, that how the camel got his hump. So let's start with the story. Let's see how. In the beginning, when the world was new and the animals were just beginning to work for man, there was a camel, and he lived in the middle of a howling desert because he did not want to work. He ate sticks and thorns and prickles. And when anybody spoke to him, he said, "Hump, just hump, and no more." So, when the world was made, when the animals were made, when the human beings were made, and this time when the human beings asked the animals to work for them, during that particular time there was a camel. He used to live in the middle of an howling desert. Why? Because he did not want to work. He only ate sticks, thorns, prickles, and whenever anybody asked him anything, what did he used to say? Hump, just hump, and nothing else. Presently, the horse came to him on Monday morning with a saddle on his back and said, "Camel, oh camel, come out and trot like the rest of us." So one day, it was Monday, and the horse was on his way, and with all other horse, they were trotting with their saddle on their back. So one of the horse, he asked the camel to come with them. "Hump," said the camel, and the horse went away and told the man. So the camel, as usual, he said hump, and so the horse went away and he told the man what the camel did. Presently, the dog came to him with a stick in his mouth and said, so now one dog came to the camel and he said something to the camel. What? "Camel, oh camel, come and fetch and carry like the rest of us." So what did the dog ask the camel to do? To come, to fetch, to carry things like them. "Hump," said the camel, and the dog went away and told the man. So again the dog went away and told the man that again the camel said hump and he refused to work. Presently, the ox came to him with the yoke on his neck and said, "Camel, oh camel, come and plow like the rest of us." "Hump," said the camel, and the ox went away and told the man. Same thing happened with the ox. The ox went to the camel, asked the camel to work with them, to plow with them, but the camel usually said hump, and the ox went away and complained to the man. At the end of the day, the man called the horse and the dog and the ox together. So all the three were called together. Who? The horse, the dog, and the ox. And said, "Three, oh three, I am very sorry for you." The man was feeling sorry for them. Why? Let's see. But that hump thing in the desert can't work, or he would have been here by now. That hump thing means the camel who used to say hump cannot do any type of work. If he could have been doing, then he would have already come to this place. So I am going to leave him alone, and you must work double time to make up for it. So you three need to work more because the camel's work is pending. To put up with the camel's work, you three need to work double time. Clear? That made the three very angry. Very obviously, the three were very angry, and they held a panchayat on the edge of the desert. So, they held a panchayat on the edge of the desert, at the side of the desert. And the camel came chewing cud and laughed at them as they were talking, as they were having a meeting. The camel came and he laughed at them. Then he said, "Hump," and went away again. As usual, he said, "Hump," again and went away. Presently, there came along the jinn, who was in charge of all desert, rolling in a cloud of dust. So, a jinn came. Who was the jinn? You know what jinn is? Yes, you know, jinn is a ghost like thing. They do not harm others, but they are good, they help others. But one more thing you need to learn, that they do not exist in our real life. They are all fables. "Jinn of all desert," said the horse, "is it right for anyone to be idle?" So the horse asked the jinn, "Is it good or is it right for anyone to be idle?" "Certainly not," said the jinn. "Well," said the horse, "there is a thing in the middle of your desert with a long neck and long legs, and he hasn't done a stroke of work since Monday morning. He won't trot." So the horse said, "There is a tall animal with a long neck, long legs, but he never want to do any type of work. And we asked him since Monday morning, but still now he haven't done anything." "Shoo," said the jinn, whistling. "That's my camel." "What does he say about it?" Yeah, I know that. That is my camel. He says hump, and he won't plow," said the ox. He said just hump, and he won't plow anything. "Very good," said the jinn. "I will hump him if you will kindly wait a minute. So I will give him a hump if you wait for just a minute." The jinn rolled himself up in his dust cloak and took a walk across the desert and found the camel looking at his own reflection in a pool of water. In a pool of water near the oasis, the camel was looking at its own reflection. He was very happy. "My friend," said the jinn, "what is this I hear of you doing no work? Why, I am hearing from others that you are not working, my friend camel." The jinn sat down with his chin in his hand, while the camel looked at his own reflection in the pool of water, and the camel was looking at his own reflection in the water. "You have given the three extra work even since Monday morning, all on account of your idleness. Because you were idle, and of your idleness, from Monday, the other three animals are working extra," said the jinn. And he went on thinking with his chin in his hand. So the jinn was thinking, what punishment would he give to the camel? "Hump," said the camel. Again the camel said hump. "I shouldn't say that again if I were you," said the jinn. "You might say it once too often. I want you to work. If I were you, I wouldn't said that word hump. I would love to work." And the camel said hump again. But no sooner had he said it than he saw his back. There, that he was so proud of, puffing up into a great big hump. So no sooner the camel said hump and ignored the jinn, a hump already was made on the camel's back. Do you see that? Said the jinn. That's your own very hump that you have brought upon your very own self by not working. Because you are not working, because of your idleness, this has been made. Today is Thursday, and you have done no work since Monday when the work began. So, from Monday, you haven't done any work. Now you are going to work. So, now you are going to work. How can I, said the camel, with this hump on my back? Without the hump, the camel haven't worked. But with this hump, how can he work? He was very much confused. That has a purpose, said the jinn. All because you missed those 3 days, you will be able to work now for 3 days without eating, because you can live on your hump. And don't you ever say I never did anything for you. So I gave you a hump, and that will store food for you. So the 3 days work you haven't done, you can do with help of your hump, because you need not eat much. The hump will provide you food, and you can work continuously for 3 days and cope up with your work. Come out of the desert and go to the tree and behave. So come out of the desert, go to the other 3 animals, and you should behave now onwards. And the camel went away to join the tree. And from that day to this, the camel always wears a hump. We call it hump now, not to hurt his feeling. So the camel do now also have a hump, and we always say that or call it a hump, not to hurt his feeling. But he has never yet caught up with his 3 days that he missed at the beginning of the world, and he has never yet learned how to behave. So the camel has still now not learned how to behave, as well as he has not cope up with all the 3 days work at the beginning of the world. So still now we see the camel, they are having hump on their back. So that's the story for you, and it is written by Rudyard Kipling. You all know the writer Rudyard Kipling. So you need to learn the story, and that's all for today. Thank you.